GDPR is tedious, necessary, and works out best for the consumer in the long run.
Text mails and HTML mails.
Yeah.
Glimpse into behind the scenes of the Atlassian ecosystem.
How you get those awesome marketing things.
The landscape of the market, the Atlassian versus Microsoft versus Google, GitHub, that sort of stuff. We talk a fair bit about scaled Agile.
Yeah, and Safe.
And the upcoming Safe Summit.
Easy Agile products. Bitching around Atlassian Cloud.
Some of the difficulties some of these large scale enterprises have adopting Agile.
Yeah, tools for Agile teams and when it takes place and why you should come.
Hello, Martin. Thanks for joining us.
I was supposed to start this, right?
You're on the Easy Agile Lounge.
It's the Easy Agile Lounge.
Welcome to our Wiesbaden headquarters.
Nick Muldoon from EasyAgile, and this time I brought my colleague Teagan along, and Teagan's responsible for all of the partnerships and marketing at EasyAgile.
You're creating marketplace apps for Atlassian software.
When I was in Wiesbaden last, we had 3 Confluence apps, and we sold them to another marketplace vendor in January, February 2017. And that was actually at the same time that we rebranded the company to EasyAgile.
EasyAgile with the A upside down.
E, because from one level it's an A, and then if we flip it, it's an E. It's Agile.
Ah, okay. I've been impressed by
the
embossing and the quality. I don't know whether this will translate in the video, but obviously this is a pretty bespoke and custom. I don't know, I would say in 40 seconds you can understand that listening to those 2 people is worth your time.
We're not based in Sydney, we're actually based 90 minutes south of Sydney, so we chose a regional area, perhaps much like Wiesbaden. It's not full on busy, it's more laid back lifestyle, great place for raising a family. And we've built a team of 6 people today that are focused on servicing and supporting over 1,200 companies around the world.
The ability to repair stuff is also pretty seldom, but you don't get the chance to repair. You have to be correct in the first place.
As I say, we have 1,200 companies around the world that use our products, and it's not uncommon for people to raise support requests with us that we ultimately investigate are related to problems with their Jira installation, not with our products. But the way that we find that out is we hop on the phone. 9 p.m. our time, we hop on the phone with someone from Germany, and we're helping them, and we're going, actually, you know what, this is a problem with Jira. Can you chat to your system administrators? Do you want us to chat with your system administrators? And we get great reviews from that.
The interesting thing is when I first started with EasyAgile, so I started with EasyAgile in June. I had no previous experience or knowledge of Atlassian at all. And so the first thing that you do, right, is you jump onto the marketplace listing, and I'm like, okay, what is this thing? Like, reading through the reviews, and the one thing that was really apparent in all of those reviews was the support.
Did you experiment on text only and branded emails?
We originally decided to do that only recently because we were asking for reviews in a text, email, plain email way, and we weren't getting any. And the branding changed that? Well, from what I know, we've at least got 2 people go through.
You probably have heard of GDPR.
Oh yeah.
In the very beginning, I thought this is a complete mess. But like the result of this portal is now for everyone we have a login. For everyone we have a valid session. I have a opt-in marketing channel where people actively tell me, like today we have people, they ask us, could you please give us a demo? And then they farm a massive company, like a DAX listed company. We think, oh yes, we're gonna go out of our way. And then 2 days later, they say, please delete my profile. And then okay, that's obviously
a good sign.
A sign of me not investing more time in this guy.
Most interesting part for me is being able to segment. They have to complete this form, right, for you to send them anything. So what's one more check on something that's going to make my experience with you super tailored to the content that I actually want?
Yeah.
Because at the moment, it's pretty hard to do that, but I think GDPR gives vendors like us a really good opportunity to be able to personalize that a lot more.
Yeah.
I think you've got to remember though, Martin, like the whole announcement about GDPR has trained people to go and check for these emails and action these emails. The EU and the data privacy commissioners at the various countries have done a lot of work to educate people about their rights under GDPR. And I think people are now taking it upon themselves to go and interact with these and say, yeah or nine, like, do I want to get this or not?
Safe, you're going to Safe Summit the next 2 days or 3 days.
That's correct, yeah.
Wednesday
We're in
and Thursday.
Frankfurt for the regional Safe Summit.
What are you doing there? So you have a booth and...
No.
Okay.
It's a, you know, a new space. Agile isn't a new space, but the scaled Agile framework. And we're just going there to learn. So
if you think of Atlassian today, Atlassian's an organisation of 2,800 people.
Oh, I just learned last week from Jens Schumacher, it's 3,400 people.
Okay,
Wow.
3,400, there you go. And they are not adopting SAFe. They're not adopting the scaled Agile framework.
No.
But Atlassian has agility in its DNA. Atlassian has that ability to constantly reflect and adapt how they operate. And they've done it time and time again for the last 15, 16 years. You know, if you talk about some of these large multinational companies, not necessarily German ones, but across the world, part of the reason that they're interested in the Scaled Agile framework is it allows them, it gives them some guidelines about how they can approach that. In our conversations with customers around the world, I don't think many of them are doing SAFe by the book. Right? But they have an aspiration to have greater agility, and SAFe is giving them kind of this path to get there.
in the
Do you hear a lot of less or other
I
framework?
think the 12th annual State of Agile report that version 1 release every year, SAFe was the most adopted framework for scaling Agile by a very long shot, and less was one of the more insignificant in terms of the adoption of scaling Agile. So I don't think SAFe's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, well, just a bit of context. So we have two products today. We have the story maps for Jira and the roadmaps for Jira. EasyAgile uses story maps, EasyAgile roadmaps. Both of those are focused at this team level. And so what we've been investigating is, in response to customer questions and requests, we've been investigating how do we take it from the team level to an organisational level, and how do we better support these organisations that are trying to scale.
And the artifact in this SAFe framework would be the PI planning.
That's right.
That's right, yep.
And what is that? Product increment planning, or what is PI for?
Program increment.
Program increment.
Increment. And so throughout the course of a year, we would have a number of program increments. So we would split our year into a number of pieces, 5 pieces. So these program increments, they're 10 weeks apiece. There's 5 sprints. 5 2-week sprints is common. And what we would do as an organisation is we would bring our entire, let's assume that there's a collection of teams. We would bring them together, and every 10 weeks we would do this PI planning, which is a 2-day event. It's fairly structured. You've got a calendar for it. And at the end of that event, the outcome would be everyone's like, yes, we think we can get this done, and they've kind of got their sprints for that program increment, that 10-week increment of 5 sprints. They've got them planned out, and then they go and they work towards delivering those. And it's a way for, you know, could be 10, 50, maybe 100 teams and the leaders of those teams to come together and to set what they aim to achieve over the next.
Why should I buy your existing product?
Do you know what your company vision is for the next 12 months, and does your team know what that is?
And which product helps me do that?
Both. So I would say the roadmap would help you to identify what is the most value for your customers per your different products or whatever it may be. And that's obviously going to, as an Agile team, because, you know, success is determined by value to our customers. So that's going to determine your roadmap for the next 12 months. And how do you share that?
Help me with the roadmap. So I have projects and issues and different issue types. What is a roadmap now, like technically? Is that like an aggregation of all of that, or is it a visualization of those pieces? How does it work?
I would say that our product is more a visualization of that piece, because it's going to change. Your roadmap, of course, will change. Your the value that your customers want, from what they want from you now and what they want in 3 months after they've been to the Safe Summit, it's going to change.
Okay.
So I think our roadmap is a really great tool to visualize a snapshot.
And it's beautiful because EasyAgile uses story maps, which provides a story map visualization for teams. It allows your teams, so if you think about Linchpin, there's a number of activities that one of the users of Linchpin actually goes through, from events to the dissemination of corporate information. And for each of those activities, your teams can visualize those on a story map and the supporting user stories that support that event.
What customers need to acknowledge is that Atlassian has become successful with a very inexpensive product. Confluence Server, Jira Server. They are still like so incredibly inexpensive that compared to the cloud versions or data center versions, which are, in my opinion, much more competitively priced, Atlassian will have a very big incentive to motivate their customers to move from server to either cloud or data center, just for earning more money. Do you think Atlassian's going to force their bigger customers to switch to data center one day?
I don't see it in the near future. I think the work that Atlassian needs to do to data center, it's really around not forcing their customers to move. It's around creating a value proposition that is so compelling that their customers decide to move. And based on the growth that we're seeing, Atlassian's not forcing anyone to do a move today, and I'd say that their value proposition is very compelling.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies are moving. What do you think an Atlassian certified person adds to their yearly salary?
Oh, that's a difficult question. So for us, what I'm telling our people is this is definitely going to make a difference in the future when you're talking about salaries within your team. That's very, very difficult. I would have a very difficult time to attach a euro value to that. But I would say it's a significant difference if you're working in a company or in that area, in this ecosystem for more than 2 or 3 years. Being certified is kind of like a must. If you're a customer, and don't overestimate this. It's like...
Well, the value is in the experience of your consultants.
Yeah.
Right? They have years of experience where they've seen what this customer did for that scenario, this solution, all that, and that's what your value is.
What we found out is, for ourselves, is we need to answer for our customers this question about like the digital workplace.
Yes.
And Atlassian obviously doesn't have a comprehensive suite for every use case. Like Google is an answer on your email, your calendars, your, let's say, collaboration for up to 5 or 10 people. And then Atlassian is the answer for collaboration from 10 or 15 people onwards. What's the biggest competitor of Atlassian? They have an answer in their prospectus.
Yeah, I think the one of the things with Atlassian is they have a breadth of products, right? They have a product portfolio that spans from software development teams through to collaboration, through to service desk. And if you look at Jira Service Desk has a very formidable competitor in ServiceNow.
Yeah.
Right? Confluence Wiki has a very formidable competitor in Microsoft SharePoint. Bitbucket has GitHub, and Stride has Slack. And so if you look at this, Atlassian has this suite of products that work together really well, and they work for marketing, HR, procurement. They work across a number of different departments. Whereas if you look at the solutions from many of these other players, they're point solutions, right? So, granted, Atlassian doesn't have an email and calendaring, but people will integrate with Google or they'll integrate with Microsoft.
The GitHub is now a Microsoft shop.
Yeah. So that will make Microsoft a much more formidable competitor to Atlassian. And I think Satya Nadella has done a terrific job really demonstrating to the market the ability to move forward.
Until that Satya Nadella guy, Microsoft has lost all technology wars, if you want to call them that. Like the operating system, which is the core, right? Like Windows is core to the Microsoft business, and now like people probably, I don't know, you'll have to chase people who say Windows is the better operating system compared to Mac. The next problem that Microsoft has is they've totally lost the mobile operating system market. Like there's no Windows Mobile anymore, and Google
but
has
you know,
one. Microsoft
has embraced both iOS and Android.
Yeah.
They've gone,
but only after Nadella started.
Granted.
What I actually wanted to say is it's pretty likely that Microsoft is going to lose that predominant positioning in the future more than they already have.
Microsoft's working tremendously hard though, Martin, to bring back the developers. Right? Microsoft felt for 20 years, 15, 20 years, they felt that they were the predominant operating system because they had the developer mindshare.
Yeah.
And under Satya Nadella, that's what they're trying to bring back.
Yeah.
They've got VS Code, they've got Microsoft Team Foundation
and
server.
Xamarin thing.
Xamarin, absolutely. GitHub, like they're trying to pull together all of these pieces to make it the most smoothest, frictionless, fun, energizing place for developers to get their work done. And so I think to your point earlier, that is clearly like Atlassian's largest and most formidable competitor. But as far as Atlassian being bought, I can't see that happening because the capital required to acquire Atlassian is pretty significant. And the people that have that sort of capital are very few and far between.
There's a gathering of partners. I'm saying like Martin Seibert and with Seibert Media, we're one of Germany's largest, actually we're the largest Atlassian partner.
Who's Atlassian?
Yeah, later. Also, like I was like reiterating that with the people responsible for Germany, for EMEA, like really high-level managers at Google. They wouldn't know Jira. As far as I know, like both Facebook and Google have developed their own versions internally of Jira that they use for issue tracking, and then
Google and Facebook have both developed their own versions of everything internally.
Yeah, but still, like it seems to be good enough. It seems to be good enough not to adopt Jira, because like you can do that, but at one point someone will come around the corner and say, "Look, there's this Atlassian."
You know, like coming from someone that worked in Silicon Valley and working at Twitter.
Not invented here?
Not invented here.
Ah, okay.
We can do it better. Right? We can do it better. We can do it better. And honestly, I think it's ridiculous, right? Because there's some things that, even if you can do them better, why would you even play in that space? How much better than something can you actually get? And what's the marginal utility of that?
Yeah. So
you know, like
who knows that Google has a Chrome store, and if you're a Chrome user, you probably know. But do you know the volume, like the amount of people using those apps? It's incredible. Like it's like they have apps that are used daily by 30 million people.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't. No one talks about that. It's pretty difficult to find a good Google partner, like a service provider. That's much easier for Microsoft. They also have like hundreds of or thousands of partners in Germany. Yeah, at least that's my feeling. And then I found those Chrome stores. I thought, oh, how come I didn't notice that? Yeah. Like, there must be software companies out there earning millions of dollars that you don't even know of because it's only a shitty Chrome app that they create. But they collect $2 a month from a user if you have enough people. That's adding up. Like
it's good business.
Yeah.
Tell me about Tools for Agile Teams. When's Tools for Agile Teams happening this year?
And why should we come?
In the early days, and those people who our repeat customers, this was a conference to compare sticky notes, Post-its, whiteboards with digital software. And there were a lot of people, like, I don't know, in the very beginning, I would say 75% of those people thought paper is much better than software. So tools for agile teams was Post-its, pens, and whiteboards for them. And we did see a shift of people being more interested in software, but at the same time, they still maintain the spirit of software is not here to serve its own purpose, but it has to help people collaborate. When is it? Was something that you were asking. And if you go to Tools for Agile Teams, you'll know the day.
I gave the keynote and did a workshop in 2016.
What was your impression on? Was it worthwhile? Like
to come across? Yeah. Absolutely, it was a great time.
And tell those people a little bit of the target group that you met.
It was I met product managers who were working with teams. I met project managers who were transitioning into new roles as, you know, trying to go on a team level into Scrum Masters. I met a whole host of people. It was a great audience. It was the workshops were compelling. There was a lot of content actually in English, which was great. The games night, which was the night before. What did we do? We did the games night before we did day 1 and day 2, right?
Yeah.
And the games night kicked it all off. That was a little bit difficult for me because it was heavy German.
Yeah.
But there was this space here, and this space was chock-a-block, right? Like.
Yeah, we had to close down. It's going to be the same thing this year.
There was as many people here as there were for the whole event. It was just
now
crazy.
We have we still only offer the unconference and the games night as an add-on.
To their actual conference.
So it can never be more than 100%, but I think we're like at 85 or 90%.
Yeah,
like
that's great.
Everyone's buying the second day as well. And
will you be in Barcelona for Atlassian Summit?
I do plan to be there, and it's the only Atlassian Summit this year. We've booked the biggest booth there.
Diamond sponsor, that's correct?
Yeah, Diamond sponsors.
For Draw.io. Very cool.
Excited.
Looking forward to it. We're taking the whole team across.
Oh, okay.
So
we're for us, this is a very important exercise to demonstrate to the marketplace, and basically to the Atlassian partners, that this old, still established diagramming solution is old and established, and that's it. And it's more of a message. Like, we're investing this money to send a message to other Atlassian partners and say to them, look, you may look twice the next time someone asks you about diagramming what the right solution is. And so we've developed a Glyphy math converter so that you can, with a single click, you can easily and securely convert all the diagrams from Glyphy to Draw.io. And it's been a incredibly expensive and tedious job because people came back and said, oh, this arrow, it points upwards now. It pointed left side.
Oh,
and then you go back and have a new version. And like, that's something that we see a lot. It's a very big driver of our business growth today, that people can easily switch from Glyphy to Draw.io. Yeah. Cool. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.